Good morning. I'm laughing because as I was just about to go live, I realized I forgot to put in my other earring. That's what happens when you wake up early, and this is one of the first things I do. I'm living in Thailand, and these used to be 9 a.m. when I was in Hong Kong, and so now they're 8 a.m., which is fine because I'm getting up at least 7-ish every day these days. But it's just so funny. I was like, oh, hi, good morning. You're like not even awake yet because you don't even have your other earring in. So good morning. I'm going to try this also just from my phone today, and so hopefully it'll be a little bit clearer, and really thrilled to connect with you all today and talk to you about clarifying your big vision. And if you are doing any work in this area, or you're wanting any support with clarifying your big vision, give me some likes and some love on this and let me know that you're there. And basically one of the things that I talk to my clients all the time, so clarifying your vision and seeing a big vision is one of my superpowers. So if you are tapped into your intuition, a lot of people have receive messages and have their intuition in different ways, and mine is in images. And so sometimes I call this really being a bit of an oracle, in the sense that I can really see, I get these very clear pictures into the future, get very clear messages sent to me in images, and those are what I then translate for other people. Hi, Monica. So this one's all about clarifying your big vision, and essentially one of the first questions that I ask any potential client, any person that I'm talking to who may have ideas that they're wanting to share or a business that they're wanting to grow is I always say, what's your big vision? And you would be so surprised how many people, probably like 90% of the people I talk to are like, that's a great question. Like, they've never thought of it. They've never really actually gotten really clear on what their big vision is. So it's one of my superpowers, and I absolutely love this topic. And so today I would like to just walk you through a few ways where you can clarify your big vision. Now, one of the things that I want to talk about in just this title alone that I think is really key to recognize for yourself is, if the idea of clarifying your big vision feels really big, something that I've had to even watch out for myself is that I will make it so big that I'm essentially making it so scary. And I see this with my clients all the time, that when we think about our big vision, sometimes it literally makes it this, just huge mountain. It makes it this huge, insurmountable, oh my God, I'm never gonna get there mountain. And kind of like what we talked about last week is that when we're this little acorn and we're in this process of growing and becoming, and we see what's possible for us, we see what's possible for our business or our own evolution and personal growth, then often it can be that it just feels so big. We don't know how. We can't even conceptualize how, as a little acorn, we're going to be able to get where we want to go. So I love living in Chiang Mai. I have this sweet little bird out on my balcony right now. So when it comes to that, just really feel into that first. Feel into when you are thinking about your big vision, is it feeling overwhelming? And as you've heard me say on one of these Facebook Lives before, if you've watched them, is that noticing that feeling of overwhelm within us is actually often, one of my mentors said this one time, which is often it's actually almost a sensation of the victim, or it's a belief that you're not going to be able to handle it. So just noticing and kind of igniting the witness and recognizing that this feeling of overwhelm, or the feeling of having it be, having your big vision be too insurmountable, or like, oh my God, how are you going to do it? Just being really compassionate with yourself of like, okay, that's all right. Because guess what? It's not going to kill you. It's not going to change anything. It actually doesn't mean even that it's impossible. It just means that you're having like, oh my God, how am I going to do that? Or one of the imposter complex things, right? Of like, who do I think I am that I'm going to be able to get there? Hi, Taylor. So ultimately, one of the things that that I first want to say, so when you're clarifying your big vision, be really compassionate if it feels just daunting to even think about it. If you're somebody that also, like me, loves thinking about big vision, actually can really easily go to big vision, then clarifying your big vision actually gets a little bit more into, okay, can you land some specifics that you would like to see? I ran into my friend Noah yesterday, and he is hilarious. He has all these brilliant ideas of how he's going to basically, like, you know, world domination and then save the world, and it's just so beautiful. And he was saying, like, he's like has very, very clear intentions to hang out with Snoop Dogg in the next few years. He's like, oh no, it's happening. And when we do, Snoop's going to be really stoked at what I'm up to and what I'm working on, and he's going to be really happy to meet me. I was like, I love that vision. That's amazing. And so just really having, like, you know, big vision like that, really going for it, being willing to have it be really clear and land some specifics. So really being able to, like, put out there what you want. I had a reading from this amazing energy healer the other day, and psychic, and she was sharing with me, like, what she's seeing in my chakras and what in my energy path. And one of the pieces was all about prosperity and my essentially, like, endless ability, or just even within my own energetic, to be receiving this. It was essentially on my chart, it was written black, and I was like, oh no, what does that mean? Does that mean I'm blocked? Like, what does that mean? She was like, no, actually it means it's just this, like, endless opportunity, almost just like this beautiful, you know, space and night sky where it's just forever and really endless. And it was awesome to just watch how that shifted things in my mind, my, like, scarcity versus abundance mind. And what if we all were given that permission, that insight that said, guess what? You can create whatever you want. That it's this endless opportunity for you to create whatever it is that you want in this life. So what do you want? Right? What is on that wish list? What's your big vision? And often when I'm asking people their big vision, it's almost like, if any of you guys are writers and you write for a little while and you kind of write what's on the top and what's on the surface, but once you get actually underneath the surface, there's more that wants to come out. So I will often be talking to people about what their big vision is, and they're just going with what's top of mind. You know, it's kind of like the muddy stuff on top that they're trudging through on a day-to-day. So clarifying your big vision takes practice. This is why people work with coaches like me, because it takes really being able to, like, you know, get the stuff off of the top and then see what else wants to shine through, what else wants to come through. And what's awesome is, I mean, I have some people that are, you know, as we're going through this clarifying your big vision, and yeah, give me your likes and your love. Thanks. It's great to see you here. And that they will get to these visions and these goals that were buried down, that they hadn't even thought about for a few years. And so I'll keep asking some questions, some clarifying questions, to, like, dig a little deeper and dig a little deeper. And they'll get to one that they're like, oh my God, that's right. Like, a great example actually is that I will often have women be like, right, and I also really want to have a baby in my life. And it's just been so, like, pushed down into the bottom of the list, like themselves, this internal, you know, desire that they want has just been pushed down to the bottom because they've been trying to make money, or they've been trying to launch their big dream off the ground, or they've been, you know, trying, and so they're like, oh yeah, that's under there too. It's like been tucked away in the back of the closet, but it's really important to me and it needs to be on here as well, because you need to then have that at least be somewhere in your vision of what you're creating, you know. And I have a lot of women that come to me with that as well. They say, I want to be able to have a life and a business that affords me being able to spend time with my family. Okay, cool, let's create that. You know, you have the opportunity to create this life in the business that the way that you want. So I'm going to give you a tool for clarifying your big vision, and this is actually handy no matter where you are. I mean, if you are somebody that's like super A-type and right now you've got all your plans really, really set out, then maybe you're doing really good on this and you're feeling really set. But if you want any kind of a fun exercise that really helps you get clear and maybe excavates and has the opportunity to kind of like surface some of these things, a really, really powerful exercise is, it's kind of what I call like this, throwing the spaghetti at the wall. And I'll often do this with clients first, where I just have them share everything with me. I want to almost like I said, right, get to the bottom of the sludge or that stuff that's on the top that's been covering it all up, and then we want to start getting at what's underneath that. So I have a workbook, and actually I'll share a link in here when I'm done, where you can get this workbook, and it's called Clarifying Your Vision. And ultimately, one of the exercises in there that I can tell you about is, it's essentially a page of circles. And this is essentially like this, brainstorm. I forget what I call in the workbook, but it's essentially this brainstorm where you start, and you can do this on any page, just create yourself a page and start putting in circles, what are some of your big visions, or what are some of the big projects or big goals that you see? So it might be a book that you're writing. It might be that you're trying to launch this program right now. You might want to make sure that you have that baby, so you really want to put baby on there because that's part of your big vision, and you need to be creating some space in your big vision for that. It could be that you're wanting a new house, or that you're creating a podcast or a TV show. Like, what are these things that are in this big vision that want to be on this board? So just have the most fun just playing with this. This is like throwing spaghetti at the wall. Get another piece of paper if you have to. Get down on the floor with your markers and pens, and really have fun with it to just create these circles. And some circles can have shoots off of others. And it can be... Hi, that'd be my tripod that just fell. So it can be a really, really fun process, and really let yourself just have so much fun with it, and see where it goes. Let it surprise you. So don't just watch this and think about it and go, oh, I know pretty much what that would be on there. Really let yourself be in the process, and let yourself be in that experience to where you can let it show you what else comes. And this is actually same with writing. This is a pretty much a writing process in and of itself, is that it is clearing that stuff off the top and allowing you to get to what's underneath there, and it will surprise you every time. Because actually, this is really what's powerful with writing. Sorry, this is gonna be a little shaky because I'm just gonna hold it. This is the powerful thing with writing it by hand, is that you're actually more in your somatic experience, and you're allowing what comes through your body to come a little bit clearer. You're not as connected to, typing, where you can edit and get all like weird with the words and change your grammar and your punctuation. You're not as much as in your left brain, but you're really able to get creative and have fun with it. So I will share the link to this Clarifying Your Vision workbook. There's another piece in here that I want to support you with when it comes to clarifying your big vision, and that is really getting clear on the feeling. So you've heard me talk about the what's your vibrational story, and I've even been having this conversation with a lot of people lately, because if you think about, for example, if we were sitting down chatting right now and you were telling me a story about yesterday, great example, I went and saw the movie Jumanji last night, and it was so fun. If you guys haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend it. It is so fun. The characters are so fun. It's so funny. It's so clever. And so we got done, and we were at dinner with other friends that a few of them didn't go to the movie, and they were like, how's the movie? They actually thought that we went to another movie, so it was hilarious because she heard this whole description of me describing this movie, and she was like, wow, and wasn't matching this, the vision of what she thought this other movie was. She thought we saw Coco, the new animated film, but it was gone already, so we went and saw Jumanji instead. And she's hearing me say it was action packed, and it was this, and I was in this great mood, and it was so funny how that wasn't aligning really, like, but she just was believing it. She was totally believing it because she hasn't seen Coco, so she didn't know. But very similar on like any story you were to tell me from yesterday where you had such a great time, or it was so wonderful, or I ran into this friend and we laughed so hard and it was so great, or I closed, you know, $10,000 in client work yesterday, or whatever that is, that story that's true for you that happened yesterday or last week that's in your memory, that feeling that you have connected to it, that's the same feeling that you can connect with a vision that happens later today, tomorrow, next week, next month. So something that's really, really fun to do, this is actually an exercise that I do with a lot of my clients, and you can totally do with anyone today, or you can just do it with yourself, to a friend. You can write it out, you can do it in the mirror, is doing future speaking. And shout out to my friend Summer Simonton, who taught me this like 20 years ago in San Francisco. And now a lot of people are calling it a lot of different things, but I really love her phrase and her term, future speaking, because that's really what it is. You're just like speaking this reality into the future. And so you can do it just as easily as like, you know, today I'm going to meet the person that I'm supposed to meet at this event, and we are going to have such a great connection, and they're going to be, either they're going to be, or somebody that they connect me to is going to be my new co-founder on this project, or, you know, whatever it is that you want to speak into being, and just have fun with it, right? It's so, so good. So that energetic though, that feeling that you have, and this is why it's so important for you to clarify your big vision, because the more you have a feeling connected to it, and the more you can resonate so deeply with that, as if you're telling a story that it happened yesterday, then that's going to be what can help it manifest into reality so much stronger. So this book that I'm writing, like, it is already alive in the world. Like, it is already doing big things in the world, and there's so many exciting things happening with it. So it's really, really cool that, like, to me, I can already feel this book. I can already feel what's happening. I can already feel the possibilities of it. And there's just this like small detail where it has to come through my fingertips. And even that, I'm doing a lot of work around feeling into how easy it is. So I'm creating a story essentially all the time, that because there's a fear brain or an inner critic or scarcity brain that wants to say, you don't know what you're doing, this is going to be so hard, this is going to take forever, this is never going to work, right? Like, it's got lots of things to say. And I literally am like, okay, sit down, grab yourself a cup of coffee, because we also have this other voice that we're working on building some muscles for. And it is like, wow, this book came so easily to you. It just flowed out of you. That was amazing. Literally, you just had to close your eyes and let it through. And you knew exactly. It was your voice. It's what you've been saying this whole time. It was like surprisingly easy. Like, you had no idea that it was going to go that fast. And next thing you knew, it was done. So, and like, I genuinely actually believe that. My vision is that it is easy for me to write books, because guess what? This is just my first one. Like, I'm so excited to write this first one because I already know I'm writing another one. So that's almost like a goal for me. I'm like, cool, I get to write this first one because I'm so excited about writing my second one. So it's a really, really fun thing to play with and start really shifting even your relationship with your big vision as not big and overwhelming and something that is like insurmountable, or that you can't even handle, or any of that, right? Like, it's just not true. All of that is just your scarcity inner critic brain wanting to think that you're not capable, but that's bullshit, because you totally are. And so instead, align yourself with your vision again. And this even can come into play where I have a lot of clients where, and myself included sometimes, right, where there are days where you're just like, what am I even doing again? Where you don't have in view what your top priorities are, what your top goals are, what your why is, right? Which is totally connected to your big vision. And so instead you start feeling a little lost at sea. You either have so many things going on that it's sent you into this like spiral of overwhelm where you don't even know where to start, which is so common. And I love helping people with this piece, because when you then come back into, and actually doing this process is the same thing, actually. You could use circles, you could use a list of like, okay, what are my most important tasks today? And usually you'll know what the thing is, right, that you've been procrastinating on the most. I'm actually doing this thing right now that is all about my most important work. And it's gotten me laser focused actually with like fitness, nutrition, whatever my goals are for that, and sleep. So I'm committed to like going to sleep by midnight, getting up by 8, and I'll even wake up earlier. I have stretch goals to like wake up at 7:30, meditate for 30 minutes. But it's awesome because, I mean, we're talking like last night, I like got my most important work done. I spent 70 minutes on it, just laser focused to try to get it done, because I'm actually aiming for 100 minutes every day or 120 minutes every day. And so I'm timing myself and tracking it. And then I am like racing home, tearing off my clothes, throwing on my pajamas, brushing my teeth, and flying into bed right at midnight so that I can meet this goal. So it's been really, really fun to give myself this accountability, and also it clarifies what my vision is. So my intention is so clear and so spot on. And if any of you guys read my my words for this year, my main word is prolific. And that means it's prolific is actually in and of itself means abundance of whatever that is that you want. So mine is obviously like prolific in writing and creating, and it's something I do naturally, but there's 2 words that are really, really key that I have supporting and really these 2 words will support any of your words for this year if you choose a word for this year, and that is intention and focus. And when you are super intentional, which is all clarifying your vision is at any time, it means you're putting this fierce intention out there that says, this is what I want to call in, this is what I want to create in my life. And so making sure that you're putting that out there so that the universe knows. It's basically like, what's the order that you're putting into the universe, right? And this makes it super, super clear. Yeah, so I am going to share this workbook for you, so make sure you like or comment on this post. I'd also love to hear from any of you guys. I love that you're watching, Amy and Nicole, so great to see you. And would love to just hear, what is your big vision for this year? What are you calling in? Share with me your word for this year. At minimum, make sure that you like or love this post so that you get a notification. I'll go ahead and post the link right after I get off here. And I'm super excited to just hear, how this was supported for you, and then how even, clarifying your big vision in your life has impacted you in the past, or what you're wanting to call in for this year. I am, and often also, when we do this clarifying your big vision, as you hear me talk about all the time, it's so key, and you'll see this in the workbook, that it's so not about, making it overcomplicated, giving yourself so much to do that you are, again, like really watch out for this overwhelm piece, and look and ask yourself really like, how can I support myself in the best way? And there's some people that can handle more complexity than others. Sometimes we think we can handle more complexity than others, which I like to call my superwoman complex, because I think I can do everything. But actually, where I know if I really like vibe into how can I support myself in the best way, that is to really give myself some laser focus. Because if I'm too scattered, if I'm trying to do too many things, nothing gets done well, or something starts slipping through the cracks, right? And so really looking and asking yourself, how can you support yourself in the best way? And ultimately, if you do have a big goal that you're wanting to get out in the world, that one of the best ways you can support yourself is getting out of this illusion that you have to do it all, or that you have to keep up anything else, but instead get laser focused. Because if you're one thing, for example, and one of my clients right now is finishing her book as well, so her one thing is that book, but it's totally given her so much anxiety that she's not keeping up with her blog or her social media or her group, and like the things that a free Facebook group that she has been keeping up like clockwork so regularly. But the thing is that her laser focus in the last 2 weeks has gotten to her place where now her last final draft is off with her editor. Now she can go back to doing the things, and it only took 2 weeks of laser focus. So we do this kind of all or nothing thing where it just feels so scary to completely get ourselves in one thing. guess what? Like, things will wait. It'll be fine. Like, we think we have to just try to do everything, and it's just not true. So if you supporting yourself in the best way you know how is giving yourself some laser focus, intentionally, what I call conscious procrastination, intentionally setting down what really can wait, then do that and get laser focused and create the thing. And most importantly, you know, have fun creating a story around how easy it is, how effortless it was, how wonderful that baby is being received into the world. One more piece and then we'll go, which is just because I said that, you know, so I call myself a doula for hatching big ideas, and I often will use this framework or this way of describing this with my clients, which is that imagine you were pregnant, and I know many of you mamas that are watching actually have been pregnant and you know this feeling. So imagine you're pregnant, and you know when you have this big idea, and sometimes we're a little insecure about it, or we're a little afraid, and we're like, oh my God, what if it's not going to work? You know, what if it's you know, what if it's going to fail, or what if nobody likes it? And it's like, when you had your baby in your belly, you never thought that. You never were like, oh, what if it's going to fail? What if nobody likes it? So really shifting that with your big visions, your big ideas, these babies that you want to come into the world. So that's like, you know, as you hear me lovingly talk about this book, that's like, it's already alive. Like, I'm pregnant, very pregnant with this book right now, and it's alive. I'm taking supreme care of myself right now so that I can be a good host and love and, you know, mama for this baby that I am birthing into the world. And that means I also know that people are going to love it. I know that it's going to be so successful. I know that it's going to totally like go out there and have this whole beautiful life of its own and impact people's lives that I don't even know about yet. But I can do my best to make sure that it is as healthy and radiant and wonderful and well-rounded or whatever as a being as possible. And I can do my part and really like holding it with so much love, and instead of like doubting or having all that fear, right? So you can just see the shift. And again, that comes back to the vibrational story that you're telling about this big vision and this big idea, about your own capabilities, about your own ability to birth this into the world. Like, you are super capable. You are completely amazing and strong and powerful and unstoppable. So, all right, beauties, I will complete this now, and I will send you guys a link. Put the link here in the video comments, so make sure that you've liked or you've loved it, so that you get notification hopefully when I post that. Yeah. So that'll be all up there and support you in clarifying your big vision if you're interested in some more support for this year. And as always, at any time, I welcome you to reach out if you're wanting any one-on-one support. I'm taking fewer one-on-one clients these days, but I do have a space that's opening up, so would love to chat with you about that. Sending you all lots of love wherever you are. Mwah.